Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com, and it is time for a dogfight. On one side we have the Pantech Burst, and on the other side we have the Samsung Captivate Glide. Both of these phones are on AT&T, and they're both great phones. Dual-core processor, 4-inch Super AMOLED display, terrific cameras, but there's a couple of differences. The Pantech Burst is only $50 on contract, the Captivate Glide is $150, and then the Pantech Burst is an LTE device, whereas the Captivate Glide is only HSPA plus. So there's a couple of differences, but the question is the extra money worth it, or is a Pantech Burst just an awesome deal? That's what we're going to find out in this dogfight. Before we get started with that, I have to say, especially to our friends at Best Buy Mobile, one of the great things about Best Buy Mobile is that when you buy a phone from them, you don't have to worry about rebates because the price on the tag is the price you pay. So thank you, Best Buy Mobile, for being so awesome. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's a dogfight between the Pantech Burst and the Samsung Captivate Glide, both on AT&T. I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com. Let's get started. Okay, so let's get started, shall we, with the Samsung Captivate Glide and the Pantech Burst, two of AT&T's high-end or mid-range, however you want to look at it, two of their new smartphones. Both are Android phones, as you can see. Both of them ship with Android 2.3, and of course they have their own custom skins. On the hardware front, very impressive specs. We'll get into that in just a little bit, but I want to start with just the overall design of the phones. You can see on the front here, the Captivate Glide has a 4-inch Super AMOLED display. In fact, in terms of the display, they're actually very equal. It's pretty much the same display, so 4-inch Super AMOLED display on the Captivate Glide, and then the same 4-inch Super AMOLED display on the Pantech Burst. Resolution of 480 by 800 on both of them, so they have the same pixel density of 233 pixels per inch. So the display, very impressive on both of them. The only thing I noticed on the Pantech Burst is that it does seem to be a little bit darker, not as bright as I would like for it to be. And this may seem, on camera, it may not translate very well. They may seem very equal, but just, in person, even having the Pantech Burst display brightness all the way up to the max, it's still a little bit too dark. I keep going to the settings thinking it's been lowered somehow because it just doesn't seem to be bright enough, whereas with the Captivate Glide, it's very bright. But again, the Super AMOLED display is beautiful, so you're going to get rich colors, the clarity is great. Overall, just a great display for both of them, so very equal in those respects. So on the Captivate Glide, we have TouchWiz 4.0, and TouchWiz in the past has not been a very popular UI, but Samsung has really done a lot to refine the UI, and I think now it's become just an excellent user interface, very refined, and a lot of very useful features. For one thing, the custom widgets that it comes with are resizable. As you can see, you can resize them to any size that you would like. Of course, most people may download their own widgets from the Android market, but if you happen to like these widgets, you happen to like their design, it's nice that they are resizable. You have a dock here at the bottom. You'll notice this also kind of has a new look from previous versions of TouchWiz. So there's shortcuts for phone, messaging, web, and applications. You can actually customize these shortcuts from the app drawer here, so you can customize, which ones you'd like to be here, and then you have the app drawer in a sort of grid format. If we go to the notification panel, you'll see shortcuts for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, flight mode, and screen rotation. So that's a quick look at Pantech, or at Samsung's TouchWiz UI. And then if we go over to the Pantech Burst, you can see it's, again, a very colorful UI. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of the way that TouchWiz used to be. Very colorful, has a lot of new design elements. It's customized pretty much every visual element of Android. You have a dock at the bottom. The difference is that these shortcuts cannot be customized. It does also come with several custom widgets similar to TouchWiz, but the nice thing about it is that a lot of them have different designs or different sizes. So if we go to the clock, you can see you have 15 different designs, so that's kind of nice. You can kind of scroll through here and see some of them. That's a nice feature that I like about Pantech's UI, kind of similar to HTC Sense. You have several different options for each of the custom UIs. In the notification panel, again, we have some shortcuts here, and we can select that arrow to have kind of an extended toggle menu. And Pantech has also included its own email client, and then the messaging app has also been customized. You can see it's very similar in the bubble format. So that's just a quick look at the UIs. Obviously there's a lot more to it, and again, this is something that's personal preference. Personally, I've always liked TouchWiz, and it's just gotten better with TouchWiz 4.0. It's even more refined, so it's definitely one that I enjoy. But you can take a look at both of them and see which one kind of suits you, which one you like the best. So in terms of specs, I mentioned earlier that both of these are excellent devices. The Pantech Burst is powered by a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core Qualcomm Snapdragon S3 processor. So it's got that dual-core processor. The Captivate Glide also has a dual-core processor, but it's kind of different. It's an NVIDIA Tegra 2 dual-core processor, and it's clocked at 1 gigahertz, whereas the Pantech Burst is clocked at 1.5 gigahertz. So kind of different there in terms of the numbers, but really performance is just about the same on both of them, that being excellent. I can tell you after testing out both of them, I've had very few problems with lag. I'm going to show you some test results here in a minute of some benchmark apps, but both of them very smooth. I little to no lag. You can perform, have multiple applications running. Web browsing, pinch to zoom is very smooth. Let's run a couple of tests here, and I'll show you guys the results. So we'll start with quadrants, the quadrant standard benchmark. Okay, so here we have the results for both of them. The Pantech Burst scored a 3,478, and the Captivate Glide scored a 3,054. So very, very similar there. Let's go over to another test. We'll run Smart Bench 2012. Again, both have dual-core processors. I forgot to mention that also both of them have 1 gigabyte of RAM. So we'll run this test and see what results we get. Okay, so here we have the results from Smart Bench 2012, and we have the Pantech Burst at 2089 on the productivity index. Interestingly, the Pantech Burst does excellent in the gaming index. Probably due to its GPU. It has an Adreno GPU, and so you can see it's pretty impressive in terms of the gaming index. But for productivity, it's a 2089, and then the Captivate Glide scores a 2322. So on the quadrant standard test, we had the Burst with a little bit higher results, and here we have the Captivate Glide with a little bit higher. Let's do one more. We'll do some LinPack tests here. Okay, so on a multi-thread test, we have the Burst at 81.798 inflops, and then the Captivate Glide at 57, so quite a bit of difference there. We'll run a single thread test. And see, we have 53 inflops for the Pantech Burst and 32. So quite a bit of difference there. Those are just some quick tests to kind of give you guys an idea of the numbers. But again, like I said, very smooth performance. I'll go to the web browser here so you can get a quick look at what performance is like. And we'll move on also to data while we're talking about the web browser. The Pantech Burst is actually a 4G LTE device. So you can see in the top corner here, I am pulling an LTE signal. The Captivate Glide is an HSPA Plus device, so you're still going to get 4G speeds, but definitely they're going to be more impressive on the Pantech Burst. And of course, I'll show you guys my speed test results in just a minute. But let's go over to phonedog.com. We'll load up this web page, and we'll take a look at how it loads, pinch to zoom, different things like that. Okay, so we have PhoneDog loaded here on the Captivate Glide and almost loaded on the Pantech Burst. As you can see, scrolling, very smooth. Pinch to zoom, again, very smooth. I can zoom in, select an article, click on it. We'll stop that from loading. And again, scrolling on the Burst, also very smooth. Pinch to zoom, equally as responsive. So really, in terms of performance, very equal. And you can see the web browser does a great job with both of them. Looks like we're loading up the same article here. And they both do very well. Minimal checkerboarding there. I don't know if you noticed on the Captivate Glide, but really, nothing much to really complain about. Let's go over to some speed test results. And of course, these are the speed test results that I have while testing in the Dallas area of Texas. And so your results may be different. That's something to consider. But like I said, the Pantech Burst is an LTE device, so you can see my results have been very good. I'm getting, here's 6 megabits per second, 9, 11, several results with 11, and then I have a couple here of 25, 27, and then it goes back to 14 and 12 megabits per second. So data speeds with the Pantech Burst have been absolutely excellent. You can see them kind of fluctuate depending on my location or kind of the time of day. And then upload speeds have also been great. You can see the upload speeds 13, 14, 16, 17 megabits per second. On the Captivate Glide, obviously it's a different story because it is an HSPA Plus device. It's not LTE. And so speeds have been disappointing, even for an HSPA Plus device. You can see 1 megabit per second, not even 1 megabit per second. I do have a couple highs here of, 7, 6 megabits per second, which is pretty good. But, really the average here is about 1 to 2 megabits per second. So that's really disappointing. Again, speeds could vary depending on your location, but just in my test, it's no contest. The Pantech Burst has, excellent speeds, and, probably even depending on coverage in your area, the Pantech Burst will always get better speeds simply because it's an LTE device, and the Captivate Glide, being only an HSPA Plus device,